Hey friends, Melina here from Pathways Books in St. Louis, Missouri. Welcome to another edition of Show and Tell with Mel. We've had some folks ask offline from our Facebook group to get some more information on this new line of books that we're carrying when we're able to get them. They're kind of difficult. The Historical Studies in Witchcraft and Magic put out by Palgrave. Palgrave is a distributor of what I would call more scholarly books. So if you're looking for something that's kind of steeped more in research and history, if you're a fan of like footnotes and bibliographies and large indexes, these books are for you. So I'm going to go through a few of them. I also pulled some of our information sheets that we have like out by the book so people can get a better idea. Now, most of these books, if you find them online, retail for over $100 a piece. However, as you guys know, when I get a good price, you get a good price. So the bulk of them are only $65 a piece, with the exception of the first one I'm going to show you, which is $55. Because again, if I get a better price, you get a better price. So the first book we're going to talk about today is The Magic of Coin Trees, From Religion to Recreation, and it's called The Roots of a Ritual. Now, I can't give you like the total... I can't give you the title without the letters flipped from my phone this way, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. Let me grab my info sheet. And again, these are ones we have hanging up in the store. So this book traces the history of ritual landscapes in the British Isles and the transition from religious practice to recreation by focusing on the highly understudied exemplar idea of the coin tree. These trees are imbued with magical properties into which coins have been ritually embedded. It's a contemporary custom which can be traced back to, in literature, to the 1700s when it was practiced for folk, medical, and dedication purposes. Today, the custom is widespread, with over 200 coin trees distributed across the British Isles, but is more akin to the casual deposition of coins in a wishing well. Coins are deposited into the tree in exchange for wishes, good luck, or good fortune. This author contributes to the debate on historical relationships between religion, ritual, and popular magic in British contexts from the 1700s to the present time. So when I first picked up this book, I'm like, coin trees, tell me about that. But from the cover, you can see where they're embedded in the tree. And I'll be honest, I have mixed feelings on that because I'm a big fan of trees. But it's very, very historical. It does have some color plates in it as well that look like that. Again, this is a book, if you found it online, it'd be well over $100. It's $55 with us. I have, I think, 2 copies of that in stock. All the books I'm going to show you, I only have between 1 and 2 copies available right now because it's a pretty large investment for us. Let's see, let's do this one next. Now, some of these titles I don't want you to have a knee-jerk reaction to, but like when I say that, you know, we respect whatever your path is, so I don't want you to weird out. So the next one I'm going to tell you about is Witchcraft and Demonology in Southwest England from the 1640s to 1789. Now, a lot of these books, especially when they deal with the history of witchcraft, if you were aware, some of you may not be, but March 1st marks the beginning of the Salem witch hunts. So witch hunts that took place over here in the United States, but were also taking place over in the UK at the same time. So this is the next book we're going to talk about. This book, I've seen this retail online for like around $119. We have it for $65. And using southwestern England as a focus for considering the continued place of witchcraft and demonology in provincial culture in the period between the English and French revolutions, this author shows how witch beliefs were intricately woven into the fabric of daily life, even at a time when they arguably ceased to be of interest to the educated people. So this is going to be, one second, I wanted to give you the timeline, which is in the front of the book. Bear with me one second. Can you tell I try not to break the spines of books I don't own? So it talks about the Somerset witches, the Bidford witches, John Beaumont, public infidelity and private belief, Methodism and mummery, the case of George Lukens. There's all sorts of interesting stuff in here from the British Isles. So that one again is $65. All right, and again along that same line of don't be weirded out, the next book we're going to talk about is Satanism, Magic, and Mysticism in France. This is by Robert Ziegler. That's the cover. Honestly, I really like this illustration on the front. It's just very etheric. So this is an interdisciplinary study of the supernatural and occult in France between 1870 and 1914. This volume examines the explosion of interest in devil worship, magic, and mysticism, both from a historical perspective and through analysis of key literary works at this period. So this is a really good example of why we offer some books with titles that can sometimes be a bit triggering's the hot word now for people, but it also looks at this from a scholarly point of view in a historical context, and it's really important to know where we come from, so that's important. So this book retails at like $109 online, and we carry it for $65. Now the whole thing that started me down this rabbit hole of I want more cool books like this was this first one called Magic and Witchery in the Modern West, celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Triumph of the Moon. Now, The Triumph of the Moon is a book by Ronald Hutton, which normally I have in stock, but honestly, we just sell out of it so quickly. So this is like a 20th anniversary look back at that book. So some tidbits from that book are new and innovative studies on Wicca and related forms of modern occult and pagan witchcraft. It builds upon Ronald Hutton's work and Western beliefs, examines paganism and occultism from a range of perspectives, including historical, the next one what I like is anthropological, and psychological points of view. It marks 20 years since the first publication of The Triumph of the Moon, a major contribution to the historical study of Wicca. So a lot of folks will come in and they'll ask, like, where does Wicca come from? So this would be a good book to kind of expound on that knowledge for you. Again, especially if you want to know more of the history and where things come from. It differs in its embrace of historical, anthropological, and psychological perspectives because there's chapters that examine not only the history, the largest and best known form of modern paganism, but also the modern pagan environmentalist, anti-nuclear activism, the pagan interpretation of fairy folklore, and the contemporary traditional witchcraft phenomenon. So this is what started me down the rabbit hole of all these cool books. And again, if you're catching this in the middle, this is again the Historical Studies in Witchcraft and Magic series. This one, $65. Let's see. I grabbed 2 coin trees. We talked about that. I grabbed 2 witchcraft. Let's see. Let's talk about this one next. The Realities of Witchcraft and Popular Magic in Early Modern Europe. Culture, Cognition, and Everyday Life. This is like honkin'. This is the biggest book out of all of them. Still $65. What did witchcraft and magic in early modern Europe really involve? The Realities of Witchcraft and Popular Magic in Early Modern Europe explores the elements of reality in early modern witchcraft and popular magic through a detailed study of actual cases and broad-ranging interdisciplinary investigations of the psychological influences on health, subliminal communication, perception and cognition, and the transcultural aspects of shamanism. Assessing the results in the light of research in other parts of Europe, it demonstrates that early modern fears of malefic magic reflected actual practices and potential harms, that belief in the devil not only contributed to, but also reflected the perceptual and cognitive processes by which people construct their experience of reality. That beneficent magic was both a pervasive and potential element in early modern life, and that the systematic repression of magic played a critical role in its eventual decline. The book complements and challenges existing scholarship, offering unique insights into the murky aspect of the past. And this author has a PhD in history from Princeton. But that is The Realities of Witchcraft and Popular Magic in Early Modern Europe. All of these books have rather lengthy titles. This one is $65. This one really intrigued me. I have all these reasons that I'm kind of drawn to each of these different books, because I didn't order everything they had, but I kind of picked what I thought would speak to our people here at the shop. But like especially the history and the case studies was what really drew me to this book. So the next one is called Charms, Charmers, and Charming, International Research on Verbal Magic. Now, verbal magic has long been a discussion here at the shop, because if you think of when anyone goes to create something, its first manifestation into physical form is when it's spoken. So like if you even go back to like the Bible, and it's like, and God said, and then things begin to manifest. So this is all about verbal magic, and it intrigued me. And again, it's scholarly, so I was interested. This one brings together many of today's key scholars on verbal charming. These essays cover the vernacular magical texts in practice from Malaysia to Madagascar, and from England to Estonia, and the most comprehensive collection of research on charms, charmers, and charming available in the English language. It forms an essential reader on the topic. So again, what I found when I researched this book a little bit more was that if you wanted to find things on charms and like spoken magic and verbal magic, a lot of it can only be found in other languages. There's a lot that is out there that's like in the Slavic language. You see a lot of things coming out of Czechoslovakia. Not a lot of stuff that comes out in English or from an English point of view. So that's why I was interested in this book. Okay, let's talk about, this is my last one we're going to talk about. There's a few others we normally carry. They're out of stock at the moment because luckily people are loving them as much as I do. But the last book we're going to talk about is Fairies, Demons, and Nature Spirits, Small Gods at the Margins of Christendom. Just a really nice cover on that one as well. This is this book examines fairies, demons, and nature spirits haunting the margins of Christendom, from late antique Egypt to early modern Scotland to contemporary Amazonia. Contributions from anthropologists, folklorists, historians, and religionists explore Christian strategies of encompassment and marginalization, and the small god's undisciplined tendency to evade such efforts at exorcism. Lurking in the forest or the fairy mound, chuckling in dark corners of the home or of a demonic's body, the small gods both define and disturb the borders of a religion that is endlessly synchronistic and in endless active denial of its own synchronicities. The book will be of interest to students of folklore, indigenous Christianity, the history of science, and comparative religions. So again, it's pretty meaty. Another reason why I was drawn to it. So that's the last book that we'll talk about today. I'm such a nerd, guys, but thanks for, if you got this far in here, thank you very much for listening. Again, I love scholarly material, and this Palgrave series does not disappoint. So again, if you find a lot of these online, they're going to be well over $100, but we get them for a cheaper price, so you get them for a cheaper price, and most of them are in the $65 range. So if you find something that you like here, you're better off calling the shop, because the more people that see these videos, the faster these books go. So if you think you can maybe just come in and pick one up, that may not be the case. So again, give us a call at the shop, 314-842-0047. And thanks as always for following us here on Facebook. And feel free to give us a like and hit the subscribe bell, and you'll be notified when we have more of these videos that go live. Show and Tell with Mel. Thanks so much for supporting us, guys. Have a great day.